Hi friends, this is your pal Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons competitor Ironbound RPG, which is an urban fantasy game created by David Ward. And I met him, he came all the way down from Maine to run his game at EcclesiaCon in Palmyra, New Jersey in March of 2025. And I came all the way from Philadelphia up to Palmyra, New Jersey, and I played in his game and learned about what it takes to compete with Dungeons & Dragons, what you should do and what you should not do. And I took a lot of lessons away from meeting David Ward and talking to him directly about his tabletop, his journey to create a tabletop role-playing game that is a direct competitor to Dungeons & Dragons. All right, so let's jump into this. Okay, so first of all, this is something I learned. You should not answer questions about your tabletop role-playing game design before you are successful. It is abominably unhelpful to you, all right? So first of all, he told me, so one, part of what it takes to do this is you can't hide everything. So, right, so one, he created this game, right? And I was like, okay, when we finished the game, he was like, hey, can you give me an advice for improving this? So one, that's, I don't even know if you should do that. But so one, I had a lot of negative things to say about the game. But here's the creator, right? I'm not just going to kick my fire to his face, right? Like, I'm going to give him a little bit of room to like slink back to Maine and not be ashamed of what he created, right? I don't want to kick you when you're in front of me, right? Like, now once we part ways, I'm going to tell the world what I think about your game, right? Because that's how tabletop. That's what reviewers do, right? And and it is rough, and I know it's rough because I listen to Grace Randolph. She's the best movie reviewer in the world, and she feels terrible when she has to tear apart a movie, and I kind of feel the same when I have to tear apart a tabletop role playing game. But I learned this stuff. My goal with this channel is transparency and to say the things in the tabletop role-playing game space that no one else is saying, right? That I genuinely believe, because I have a lot of that. By the way, a lot of people are like, "Oh, Scott, this is a terrible take." No, what you don't understand is I got tons of ideas that are just like Dungeon Dudes, right? But I never waste your time with them. The only thing I'm going to share with you is something you ain't heard on 50 other channels. So that's why my stuff is so unique. All right, so okay, let's get into it. All right, so he answered a whole lot of questions. I don't think he should have done that, right? So one, he changed how I thought about the game when he explained his process for art, right? And it made me immediately realize that the art that had been gathered together for this game was just stock, stock art, right? Like, and some commissioned art. But the second he included a stock art piece, he really wasn't trying to depict his world. He was just filling up space, right? And I shouldn't have known that, because if I didn't know that, then my placebos are real, right? If you don't tell me that you used crap stock art actually, it was great stock art, right? But if you didn't tell me that you didn't care that the art didn't depict your world, then I wouldn't know that your art didn't depict your world. I would assume it did, right? So there is incredible value in keeping your design secrets secret, right? Because it allows me to preserve my goodwill for your process. And if you're new, and this is the other part that I think is like, tabletop role-playing game designers do not understand this, right? They think, oh, this is a wild thing. So one, he's created this tabletop role-playing game, and he's proud of his effort, right? But you shouldn't be proud of your effort. You need to be proud of your results, right? And right now he's done nothing, right? This thing has not outperformed anything on the market. And this thing could be a dead cat bounce, right? Like, just drop a dead cat off a building, no bounce, right? And I think that's where Ironbound is heading. I think this is going to be a dead cat bounce, right? Like, just plop, done, right? This ain't going to go anywhere, right? And so one, and the reason why is he thinks that if he shares this with people in the community, they're going to be impressed by his effort. But that's the problem. Like, if you're a magician, you cannot, like, just watch the movie The Prestige. You cannot tell people your effort. You cannot tell people your effort. They're not going to be impressed. They're going to be appalled. And that's what I was. When he like drew back the curtain on his processes for designing this game, I was appalled. I was appalled at his decisions. I was appalled at his ignorance. Now, I want to say he's not lazy. He worked very, very hard on this, right? This failed because he is ignorant of tabletop role-playing game design, and he is ignorant of the history of the tabletop role-playing industry, and he's ignorant of tabletop marketing, and he's ignorant of Shadow Dark, and he's ignorant of Dungeons & Dragons. He's just ignorant of it. So none of this is a lack of effort. He worked extremely hard on this game, okay? This is just a product of ignorance, right? And he could have fought that. Like, he could have just studied the market more and followed the winners, right? He wanted to do his own thing, right? Now, the problem, do people have a right to do that? Actually, everybody has a right to do that. Should they do that? No. Get uncomfortable and do what's necessary to beat the number 1, number 2, and number 3 games in the world, or don't even try. Don't try. Don't plop out your tabletop role-playing game if you're not gunning for the top, right? It's not needed, right? And so one, if you're a tabletop role-playing game, you need to shroud yourself in a sense of mystery. And do not answer questions from people like me, right? Because we will tear apart your work based on what you have displayed, right? And what he displayed was ignorance, where if he had kept his mouth shut, it would have preserved my goodwill toward the product and my goodwill toward him. Now, wait a second, Scott. Hold on. You know what? And so that's the point. Don't do it. Do not answer questions from people like me. Don't tell anyone how you built your tabletop role-playing game until your tabletop role-playing game has outperformed at least some other tabletop role-playing games and you've accomplished something. That's the problem with David Ward's Ironbound. He's talking about it and bragging about it before it's done anything, right? And that's the issue. Until you do something and you defeat even a single other tabletop role-playing game, keep your mouth shut. Keep your mouth shut. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.